Hi, The Enchanted Umbrella by Odette Myers. She's the author, and the illustrator is Margot Zemuck. Okay, and at the end of the story, there's a short history about umbrellas. So maybe we don't, well, remind me to read that at the end because there's some interesting things about umbrellas. They go back to ancient times, thousands of years ago. Okay, you ready? Thank you for being such great listeners. Okay. A long time ago, there was an old man who made a wonderful umbrellas with Patu, his young helper. The old man and Patu worked very hard in the umbrella shop and lived happily together in the rooms above it. The old man had no children of his own, and Patu had no family of his own, but the two loved each other like daddy and son. The old man had only one relative, a very lazy, that's not a good way to be, is it, guys? Someone that never wants to work hard. And selfish, that's also not a very nice way to be, someone who doesn't want to share. Nephew who came to visit once in a while, but only to sit and eat up his sweets. Well, one day the old man became very, very sick. When he could no longer work, Patu worked twice as hard and cared for him tenderly. The lazy nephew just sat and ate up all of the sweets. One day, the old man called his lazy, selfish nephew to his bedside and said, "When I eventually die, take all that I have, all of my money and my house and all that is in it, and share it with Patu, who has taken such good care of me in my old age. Make sure to share." And his nephew said, "Why, yes, uncle, of course I will." Now, if he was selfish and unkind and lazy by nature, boys and girls, do you think he's going to do that? Well, as soon as the very old man had died, the nephew said to Patu, "Now my uncle's money, his house, and all in it will belong to me alone. Go away." And he pushed Patu out of the house. Patu was very sad. It was raining heavily, so he huddled close to the door. The selfish nephew opened a window and shoved an old ragged umbrella at him, saying, "My uncle has left..." Whoops, sorry about that. "You this. Now go away," he said, and he gave him the umbrella. Boy, look at those stratus clouds back there, guys. Patu took the umbrella. He was very glad to have something that had belonged to the old man, and the umbrella would protect him from the rain. He had nowhere to go, so he walked aimlessly, holding his umbrella above his head like a traveling roof. So aimlessly means he's just walking in no particular direction, just not sure where he's going to go next. Patu wandered into a forest where he was attacked by some robbers. One of the robbers tried to grab his umbrella from him, but Patu clung tightly to the handle, and to their surprise, the boy and the robber rose into the air at a frightening speed. Oh my word, look what the umbrella did. It must be a magic umbrella. Patu was afraid he would lose his grip, but the umbrella handle held him fast, and not the robber, who was shaken off and dropped into the treetops. Sailing through the air, Patu gazed happily down at the countryside. Far below, he saw a richly dressed couple strolling in a beautiful garden. Suddenly, he spotted a tiger about to pounce on them. He gave his umbrella a gentle pull, and at once it swooped down into the garden. Patu cried as he grabbed the couple. Immediately the umbrella rose swiftly into the air, carrying them to safety. Are you thinking that that's a magic umbrella, my friends? And the name of our story is The Enchanted. Enchanted means magic. Patu and the umbrella took the couple right to the front door of a great big mansion, or kind of like a castle. "Won't you come in?" the rich man asked as he looked at that umbrella. "Yes, I will, thank you very much," said Patu as he closed up his umbrella. Inside they sat down to a festive meal. The rich man offered Patu a lot of money for his umbrella. "I'll give you this whole bag of gold for that umbrella." What do you think he should do, guys? Well, yeah, I heard some of you say, "No, don't give it to him." That's what he said. Absolutely not. It's a special gift for a very special person to me, he said. Well, the rich man still wanted that umbrella, and he had an idea. He ordered a servant to bring a very strong drink for Patu that made him go to sleep. Oh, no! While Patu was sleeping, the rich man took the umbrella. Eager to try out its magic, he opened it inside the house. At once, the umbrella yanked him out the door and whisked him up into the air. And they flew over a river. The umbrella closed abruptly and dropped into the water, and the frightened man still clinging to the handle. Help! Some fishermen who happened to be nearby pulled the rich man from the river and carried him back to his house. Patu, awakened by all the commotion, said, "Thief! Thief! Thief!" That would be the same thing as a robber. The rich man heard Patu's cries. Soaking wet and furious, he shouted, "Throw that boy into the river!" His cruel servants obeyed him. And Patu struggled and kept yelling, "Thief! Thief!" But the servants threw him over the rock into the river. There he is, into the river. Let's see what happens with that umbrella. What do you guys think? Is that umbrella going to come back? Look at that. Do you think the umbrella is saving the boy? Oh, wow. Patu sank, then rose to the surface. He sank again, but managed to rise once more. Just as he was about to sink for the third time, he saw the umbrella floating upside down at his side. With great difficulty, he clambered into the umbrella. Together, Patu and his umbrella sailed down the river all the way to the ocean, through calm waters and stormy waters. After many days, Patu landed in a far, far away land. He was delighted to be back on land. He turned his umbrella right side up, and joyfully it carried him high above a crowd of astonished people who had never seen an umbrella before. "Long, long ago," said one very old man, "kings had umbrellas." So when Patu landed among the people, they crowned him their king. Look at that. They gave him a fine, cheerful house with a beautiful flower garden. Once again, Patu had a home, and he was very happy. King Patu made a speech. "Dear people, I thank you for the fine house and the beautiful garden, and I thank you for the crown. I will wear it always. And now, as your king, I will make my first law." That would be like a rule. A rule. "Let each one, young and old, have an umbrella. But do understand that only my umbrella will fly. It belonged to an old umbrella maker who once gave me a loving home and a useful trade, or that would be like his job. Since only King Patu knew how to make umbrellas, he set up a shop in a fine house. He hired many helpers, and with his crown on his head and the royal umbrella close by, he made umbrellas for all the people in the kingdom. Do you guys see the magic umbrella close by? Wow. Now the old ragged umbrella had nothing to do but protect King Patu from the rain. Once in a while it got restless and would suddenly pull him up into the air, sometimes when he felt like it and sometimes when it didn't. And a little more about umbrellas. Now, boys and girls, this story that the book that belongs to Grandma Dorothy was actually told hundreds of years ago. It's been carried down for centuries, and umbrellas actually weren't used just for rain like we use umbrellas for here in Seattle. So let's find out a little bit of a history about umbrellas. Long ago, only kings and emperors and other rulers were allowed to own an umbrella. Wow. Then the rulers began to give umbrellas to some of their friends and relatives and their favorite guests. Now these umbrellas are beautifully decorated, but notice they're not used for rain. Wow, even look at the royal elephant. I think that's an Asian elephant, not an African elephant. I can tell by the ears. But in time, so many people admired umbrellas and wished to have them that there came to be two kinds: very fancy ones for royal families and ceremonies, and simpler ones for more practical reasons, like maybe for rain. That might be why he's selling umbrellas. Maybe he's having rain, using it to protect himself from the rain. Luckily for us, today everyone who wants an umbrella can have one. A fancy one or a simple one. Some people think that if you open your umbrella inside a house, it will bring you bad luck. But all you have to do is close the umbrella and walk backwards through the front door, and the bad luck goes away. I used to believe that when I was a little girl too. Alrighty, guys, that's the end of our story. Can I tell Grandma Dorothy that I want to tell her that I read this to you, and can you give me a thumbs up if you liked it? I know I did. Did some of you think there were some parts that were kind of scary, like with the robber and when the rich man had thrown him into the river? Some of those are kind of scary things that happen in the book. Some stories from long ago have scary things that aren't things that would ever happen to us, but stories, as we talked before, boys and girls, that are carried down for hundreds of years just become really special. And you remember how the African people we talked about, how they share stories with their children and explain things like how the elephant got his trunk from that crocodile pulling on it. So this story, I'll tell Grandma Dorothy that I think most of you guys liked it. And I've been talking to her on the phone. I can't visit her. She's doing great. And I keep asking her for a picture, so she'll send us one. I bought her a big box of Oreos and gave it to the nurse to give to her today. So, boys and girls, I love you all. See you next week. Have a great weekend.